Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unit 5. Today, I'm going to be walking us through the beginning of our argumentative essay draft and talk about the reading and resources for this week and just kind of what all that entails, as well as our Unit 5 discussion board. All right. So this week, we're going to begin work in earnest on our major course project, which is your argumentative essay. And this week, you will complete the introduction to that. So the introductory statement with your thesis statement that is argumentative in nature and has reasons of support. So I'm going to briefly kind of overview the work and then just kind of give you some tips on the work as well. So this week's reading and resources, if you click in here, the first two readings are on persuasive writing, pages 187 and 188, and then pages 193 and 195. And then sort of sandwiched in between there, you'll actually do the reading straight through. But there's also work on fact, opinion, and bias, which should inform your discussion board post for this unit. So make sure you check here in the reading and resources. Again, as I mentioned before, so when you click onto the reading, you need to make sure that you're looking at page 187 up here at the top, or bottom, I suppose, and not this number. As you see, they don't match up. So make sure you're reading the correct portion. This is the portion on persuasion and argument. You'll read 187 straight through to 195 and go from there. The other thing, so the two assignments that you're going to be doing this week, the first is the discussion board, sort of discussing the difference between fact and opinion. And then the second is posting the introductory paragraph for your argumentative essay. There is a sample introductory essay down here. It's on cyberbullying. That is not one of the topics that you can choose from. So you can't copy and paste this or sort of base it on it. All this example here is just to kind of show you how a writer might write about the topic of cyberbullying in an introductory paragraph. And you see in this, essentially, they have the introductory sentence that sort of draws the reader in. They ask a question that's just sort of the research question, and then they end with their specific thesis statement. So in this case, their thesis statement is high schools need to implement specific programs surrounding the topic of cyberbullying that provide education on the subject, intervention for those being bullied or doing the bullying, and severe consequences for acts of cyberbullying. So that is the formula I wish you to follow for your thesis statement, right? So you have a direct statement. So high schools need to implement specific programs surrounding the topic of cyberbullying. That's the whole thing. That's what they're trying to convince us of. And then the specifics, the reasons of support are what follow. And you notice that there are three. Those three reasons of support then become sort of the topic sentences for your body paragraphs. So that's why introductions are really important. They're difficult as well. But once you have them in place, outside of the research element, which is probably the most challenging and time-consuming part of this, the most important aspect is writing the introduction and getting a clear and concise thesis statement. All right, so that's kind of a little bit about what you're going to be doing this week. So more specifics. So by Wednesday, your initial post for your Unit 5 discussion board, you're going to consider these questions. So what would you consider to be the biggest difference between a fact and an opinion? How would you use a fact in your writing, and how would you use opinion in your writing? And why do you think that people get confused about the difference between fact and opinion? So in a sense, you're going to sort of highlight the differences between a fact and opinion, and then also write about how you would use those in your own writing, how you would use each. I think that the thing is that when in argumentative writing, I think people think that you can't have opinions, and that's actually exactly the opposite. You do need to have an opinion, but you need to understand the difference between something that is an opinion and then something that can be supported, right? And so that's it. So an opinion and in fact, what are the difference there? And so you're going to post that by Wednesday night, and then so that's the first half, and then you're going to provide 2 statements at the end of your post, of your initial post. Statement 1, statement 2. One of them should be a fact and the other should be opinion. You're not going to state which is which. And then in your peer responses, you're going to go and read your classmates' statements, and you're going to comment on which one you think is the opinion and which one is the fact. Okay, and you'll do that by Sunday night. You will need to follow up with 2, and hopefully there's no confusion as to what constitutes a participatory discussion board. You need to comment on 2 other students' threads. So that's not replying to me, that's not replying to people in your own thread that you posted, that's clicking on their own initial post, one of your classmates, and commenting on it. All right. Most of you are doing that correctly, but I've noticed as I've been grading that some may not know that. Yeah, and so that's basically all for that. Now, the Unit 5 assignment argumentative essay introduction is the next thing, and this is due by Sunday. It would be useful probably to click on the argument essay. That is the large picture that you're going to be building the next 3 weeks, just to kind of get a handle on it. So if we start with that, so your argumentative essay, essentially you can pick from one of these questions. Should free speech be regulated on social media? Should health insurance be mandatory for all American citizens? Or should Americans be required to complete some form of national service? And you're going to craft an argumentative essay arguing your position on one of these topics, okay? So that, again, the whole essay is due in Unit 7. So essentially, 3 full weeks from now, right? This week, you're going to be doing the argumentative essay introduction. And so if you click on this, basically, you're going to use the same pro-con issue that you used in Unit 4. And this time, you're going to pick a side to focus your essay on. All right. So you want to begin the introduction with a sentence that hooks the reader from the start of your essay. You want to engage the readers with the first sentence to keep them reading. Then your next sentences will sort of explain your topic, etc. All of this you can go through. There's direct instructions here, and you'll submit that through a Microsoft Word document by Sunday night. And yeah, so that's it for the week. Again, if you have questions at any time, please don't hesitate to ask, and we'll talk again on Wednesday.